Today's devotional is from Exodus 4, and in particular, this is from the point where God is calling Moses to go to Pharaoh to let the Israelites go under his captivity. And the story where we pick up today is this back and forth which Moses is having with God, really, and he's kind of God has given him this call, this mandate to go and carry out, and he's giving God like these excuses. He's going back and forth with God, and we're just going to pick up 3 points from this story, and we're going to try and learn from them this morning. And this is where we pick up in verse 10. It says, Moses said to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I've never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I'm slow in speech and tongue." Now, this is either a lie that Moses believed about himself, or it's something which he had lost, because this is what the Bible has to say in Acts 7 verse 22 about Moses. As Moses was educated in all of the wisdom of the Egyptians, and he was powerful in speech and action. Either or, right? Whether it's a lie that he believed about himself, and sometimes we tell ourselves lies, and we speak things over our lives, or he really didn't think that he was ever eloquent in speech or action. Right? And none of those things are helpful. None of those things in terms of whether we believe in the lie of that we don't have what God is requiring, or we believe that but we believe in things which aren't true about ourselves. Either or, those things aren't helpful. But notice the big thing you have to take out is that God is speaking to him about his mandate, about what he's been calling him to, and Moses is the first one to bring up his limitations. And this is often the case. Often I'm the first one to say, actually, God, I don't think you've considered this. Right? I'm limited here. And the beautiful thing about this is that we will always be the weakest link in God's plan. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we know that, actually, God, in this mandate that you've given and what you've called us to, that I'm the weakest link and I am in desperate need of who you are. I need you to help me carry out this task that you've asked me to do. Right? And when we stay in the position of God, I actually need you to carry out this task, is the safest place to be, and that's where we should be. That's where our hearts should be. God, I fall short. I really drastically fall short. And knowing that God has considered everything, God has considered my lack, my limitations, and choosing to trust God. And point 2 is this, and carries on, and he says, Lord, and then God says to him, who do you think gave the mouths to speak, and who do you makes other people deaf or mute? And who do you think gives them sight or makes them blind? It is not I, the Lord. Now go, and I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. Right? It's this posture that, God, I will need you to carry me through this, what you've called me to. And point 2 is this, is that then Moses carries on, but he first started saying, "Pardon your servant." Right? And he says, this is what I struggle with. This is my limitation. I'm slow in speech, and I'm not eloquent in the way that I say things. Right? And then he clarifies it later on, and he says, God, just excuse me from this one. Right? As if God wasn't like picking up on his signs. And Moses just says, please send somebody else. Have you ever tried to excuse yourself from God's plan? I was like, go and do this. And you're like, God, I get you, understand that this seems fantastic. This is great. I love what you're doing. I love what you're planning on doing. And this seems like this is such a great thing that you are doing. But actually, I don't see myself being part of that. Can you excuse me from this one? Can you send somebody else? One is the absolute audacity to actually say, God, but also I think it comes from a place of saying, God, I don't think you've considered everything from every angle. I don't think you've considered my current situation. I don't think you've considered my past, my family's history. I don't think, Lord God, you've considered my bank balance. Lord God, I don't think you quite appreciate where I'm at in terms of my career. Lord God, I don't think you quite appreciate where I'm at in terms of just, I'm going this way and I'm forging this path this side. I don't think you quite appreciate what I'm trying to do over here. Not saying that, but I'm calling you. And it's not a mistake. Now, I've picked you based on my wisdom, based on my understanding, which is far above our wisdom and our understanding of things. And we trust that God knows that in picking us, He knows what He's doing. He's done this with the wisdom and the understanding that He has, and not that we have. And point 3 is that God doesn't call us based on our abilities. He calls us based on our obedience. God, I know that I'm the weakest link in this plan. I know that I fall so short. And Lord God, in my thinking, I think that it would be better if you used somebody else, more qualified, who meets the requirements, who meets the standard. But regardless, Lord God, I will be obedient, and I will take that faith step, and I will walk this journey with you. I'll walk this mandate which you have spoken with you, God. Trusting that you will fill in the gaps, knowing that you will fill in the gaps, knowing that I'm not enough, but you are, knowing that I have every excuse that I have in me that you shouldn't pick me, but still choosing to be obedient and trust you. And that's my prayer for you.